Have you been in a situation where you've had a dispute with a local Emirati partner in your company? Now, unfortunately, these things are quite common, and let me tell you a little bit of the backstory about why this happens and how this arose. Many people who come to Dubai and want to set up new entities here and businesses here do not realize that until 2020, it was compulsory for 51% of your local company to be owned by an Emirati national or a wholly owned company owned by Emirati nationals. So basically, you were giving up 50% of your equity to a Emirati to be able to run a business in the country. Now, the 2020 law liberalized this, which meant many sectors were open for foreigners to own 100%. Some of the sectors that weren't open for foreigners included sectors like defense, oil and gas, tourism, and certain things that have been restricted like transportation, running taxi service around town, etc. So my point is that when a lot of the older companies wanted to take advantage of the law and transfer out the 51% local sponsor that they had on their books for many, many years, it proved to be a bit of a challenge because their documentation and the memorandum and articles of the company were not geared towards an exit of the local partner who actually on paper owned the majority of the business. So one of the things I think we've done in the past is mediated and negotiated a way out and a way forward with these local partners because times have moved on, the law has moved on, and one must use the liberalization of the foreign investment law and the company law in the UAE to one's advantage, right? For a company to own 100% of an equity, especially foreign entities coming into the Middle East, is a really important point. It's amazing that till today there are so many of our companies, local liability, limited liability companies that we work with that continue to have local sponsors. Now, it's not necessary to remove your local sponsor from the company if you have a good relationship, if you're bidding for government contracts and things like that, where this relationship can be quite useful. But what has typically happened is in cases where there has been an individual local sponsor, an Emirati individual, then if that person dies, his entire estate is effectively divided under Islamic Sharia rules, which means in one case, I had a widow along with 6 children, 2 of whom were majors and 4 of whom were minors, actually inheriting this kind of role of local sponsor, which made it incredibly complicated and required a lot of permissions from the judicial authorities and the Awqaf and the other Islamic authorities that look after or look at Islamic affairs of a Muslim who dies in the country, etc. Again, the rules have been liberalized. Muslims can now in fact have certain types of wills which can be registered by the Abu Dhabi Judicial Department, and that's a whole other blog. But here's my take on local sponsorships and 51% ownership in local companies that still carries on to date. Thank you so much for watching Think Tank.